Hey there, good morning. It is January 9th on this Thursday morning. You're watching News 6 Plus. This is Breakfast with Bridgett. I'm Bridgett Ellison. Good to be with you and hope you're keeping warm. We're getting ready to get you ready for another cold day. Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos is standing by in the Pinpoint Weather Center. We will get the latest on some local news. We have volunteers here from Central Florida headed out west to help with those devastating, deadly wildfires that are raging right now. And it is an effort across the country to try to lend help to our neighbors out to the west. So we'll check in with Angie Casada live with more on that. And she's in Orlando where some volunteers are going to head out west. So we'll check in with her. Today is former President Jimmy Carter's funeral. We have the latest details on that today. And we're also looking at some other big stories happening around Central Florida, including the Space Coast, as well as some help with your finances. And if you're having trouble making ends meet, we'll get to that in a bit too. But first, grab your coats, grab your boots, and let's head over to the Pinpoint Weather Center with Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos. And you know what? It's bitter right now, but the afternoons have been really nice.
They have been, and today temperatures are going to try to get to near 60. Many locations won't get close to it, but some will try at least. But right now, officially in Orlando, we dipped down into the 30s, making it the coldest morning we've had since about last January. That time we hit 38 degrees. So it's certainly chilly out there, but we've also got a breeze to contend with. So no big frost concerns because of that breeze, but the breeze is certainly making it feel much colder than it is outside. And for that reason, today we're designating it a weather alert day. Really, it's more of a weather alert morning. So as we take you here, the reason for it, it's not because of rain or storms, it's the temperatures right now. The moment you walk out the door, we're talking wind chill factors in the 20s and 30s. A few areas getting close to near freezing for actual temperatures. So again, we will be a little milder by the afternoon. So we have freeze warnings in effect for another hour and a half or so for Marion, Lake Sumter, Volusia, Flagler County, as the thermometer could read sub-freezing temperatures. That's about 32 degrees and colder. And then we have cold weather advisories. This used to be called wind chill advisories. Now the National Weather Service has called it cold weather advisories. That is also until 9 a.m. as the feels like temperatures, when you factor in that breeze and what it does to your body, it makes it feel like it's 20 to 30 degrees outside. So let me show you here, temperatures out the door. We're nearing freezing Ocala at 33. Temperatures in Orlando, look at that. That just updated. We are now officially down to 37. That, I have to look back now. I think that might be the coldest weather we've seen in 2 years now. I have to look back at that. That's just updating. Look at that. Breaking news right now on Breakfast with Bridgett. Look at the wind chill though. So Bridgett, if you walk outside right now, you can say, oh my goodness, it feels like it's freezing outside. Because it is. It feels like 31 degrees. It feels like 26 degrees right now in Ocala, 26 in Palm Coast. It feels like the 20s area-wide there through Daytona Beach. So
I just feel like it's when we have the heat advisories and we tell people, like, if you don't have to be outside, don't be.
Yeah. If you don't have to be outside, don't be. You know, the thing is with heat advisory, at one point you can't take off any more clothes. At least you can bundle up here, right?
It's true.
Forecast
if you got it.
That's what my mother always used to say when I was like, turn the heater on. She's like, add more layers. You'll be fine. Look at your highs, though, this afternoon. We're going to try to get to near 60, primarily in Brevard County, but areas to the north, look at you guys in Palm Coast. It's going to be hard to even get out of the 40s today. Then, before you know it, we're going to be snapping right back into reality that we live in Florida. We're going to start warming things up a little bit as we head into the overnights. It's still going to be cold, just not as chilly as what we're experiencing today with temperatures back into those 30s and 40s. Now, if you're hoping for some warmer weather Friday, that is going to be your best day. Early Saturday morning, it will be noticeably warmer. And then that cold front comes through. Could be bringing another mess of rain, snow, and sleet across parts of the Carolinas, the Appalachians as well. But then notice that trailing cold front will be bumping up our rain chances a little bit come Saturday. So your rain chances will be about 20 to 30% across the area. So no big rain event, but it will reassure in some more colder air. So temperatures, once the front gets out of here, will be back into low 60s. We'll try to warm back up come Monday, but notice what happens on Tuesday. Another cold front comes through. So as long as tomorrow we don't hit 70 degrees, we could get close to a nice chunky stretch of temperatures below that 70-degree mark. So we'll have to wait and see what Friday's temperatures finally officially get to. But the moral of the story, guys, is bundle up. It hasn't been this cold in quite some time here in Central Florida. I will find those details and I'll post it there on my Facebook and Instagram page once I get the data in and see how long it's been since we've dipped down to 37 degrees.
Oof. All right. And I'll see, we'll have to see how that factors into so many things that we have going on. So
Right.
a little bit
And the
longer
rest
with
of,
this.
the rest of the country, and everyone's like, oh, you guys in Florida are always like sensationalizing how cold it is. Well, you know what? Here in Florida, this is cold for us. Okay. And everyone who traveled, from up north, this is still technically warmer than where you came from. So the rest of the country
Yes.
is looking even colder. But here in Central Florida, if we want to whine and complain about the cold weather a morning, we will. We can do that. We're allowed.
Especially when it's not just a quick snap. This has been a little stretch. So
It certainly has.
yeah.
Yesterday, I had to pull out of my car. I think at last check, it was 5 different jackets because they leave them in the car. And then I'm not there in the morning, so they add another jacket to the mix. So yesterday, I almost took a picture of it. I was like, find your jackets, put them in your closets. Like,
That's
this
right.
is getting
That's right.
ridiculous.
And I got the Sharpie out and made sure that those names were in the
You know
bags
it.
because you might be sifting through a pile of lost and found at the next school event. So
I probably will have to do that later today.
okay, Candace, thanks.
Bye.
Bye. We want to check in with Trooper Steve, and we have a cute update because he was over at Orange County Animal Services yesterday morning with a cute pup who got to ride along in the truck with you. How's it going? Are you a little under the weather, I heard?
I am, man. Bridget, I'm struggling right now. It's
Honey
all
and lemon.
just here.
Honey and lemon.
That's all here. Yep, I got cough drops, got Theraflu. I'm gonna go maybe get a little sun and Jesus
Sudafed?
outside and hope
Sudafed?
he can fix that. Sudafed may
I need to see your
may
ID.
put me to sleep. Yeah.
No, it won't.
But yesterday I was super healthy and went over to start the year off over at Orange County Animal Services. Bridget, you already know our success rate
Yeah.
in getting dogs adopted have been
Look at him.
100%. And look at this. This guy was hanging out in the car with
He
me.
loved it.
Look how calm he is. He's just chilling back there. And it's like he was designed just to hang out, be with the family. So
Chilling.
his name is Jaco. His name is he's 10 years old. And weird story. So he was born in 2014 and he was a puppy. And Orange County Animal Services found him as a stray and got him adopted. Here he is now, 10 years later, and he's back. Now, he's no fault of his own. I tell it's an explanation, not an excuse. The owners dropped him off and said, we are moving out of the country and we can't take him. So to me, I don't know what type. I'm not going to get too hostile. I'm not.
You can take your pet if you're moving, but anyway,
you can take your pet anywhere you want if you try hard enough, especially if you're moving. So, but anyways, he's just 10, so he's a little bit of a senior. He shows little signs of being a senior, but outside of that, Bridget, he's healthy.
He's alert.
Alert. And there's a moment in the stream he gets so comfortable that he just lays down in the back seat and gets some belly rubs. And his coat would have blown your mind away because he looks like he's rough, like a little pity mix, but it was, those blankets that we like to put on our couches so we can snuggle up?
Yeah.
He was so soft that Bryant Almeida, the Orange County Public Affairs Officer for the Animal Center, could not stop petting him the entire time. He was fun. He loves other animals. He has no predatory drive. Whether it's the birds landing in the yard, cats or dogs, he has no problems. He does well around people and kids. And he is only $10. I've already told Bryant I will pay the $10. It ain't that much for you to take this puppy home. So he's ready. Bridget, he is ready to go home.
Jaco. All right. Well, we'll look forward to the update because I know somebody's going to go pick him up.
They better, because we got a streak to keep going. So, yeah. So today at 10 a.m., I'll be with firefighter Rob. He is a first responder who has dedicated his life now to raising awareness and running marathons in his firefighter bunker gear.
That's heavy.
I say it's about 40 to 50 pounds of gear we're talking about, and he does these runs. So he'll be joining me today at 10 a.m. because he's doing the Disney Marathon this weekend.
Wow. In
So
the
I'm gonna
gear.
go pick him up in the gear. So I'm gonna go
Wow.
pick him up at Coronado Springs, and we're gonna go have a little discussion that will happen at 10 o'clock.
All righty. Get him some protein and some. He's got to gear up.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
So
And you take a Sudafed. Come see me.
yeah. All right. I'll talk to
Okay.
you later.
Thanks, Trooper Steve. We've been talking about these wildfires, which are really devastating. You've seen the footage coming in from CBS, people just really running for their lives and gathering all their loved ones and their belongings and trying to get out of this area near Los Angeles. At least 5 people killed in this and thousands of structures already destroyed, and they are being called the most destructive fires in modern history of Los Angeles. And it is a desperate fight that continues even to this minute. Central Florida is sending volunteers. They are coming in from all across the country to try to help those who are struggling with this fire out west. News 6's Angie Casada is covering this, and she is out by the Red Cross in Orlando. We have some help headed out there too, Angie. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Bridget. Yeah, I always say we're not meant to do life alone, right? So it's always amazing when we see like our community stepping up and sending some folks out there. We had the pleasure of meeting Miss Marjorie Pedro earlier this morning, just a few minutes ago. She actually just left to go to the airport to head out to California, but she's one out of several. There's actually, I think, 6 here locally that are going to be heading out to California with the American Red Cross. She was visiting from the Virgin Islands. She was actually here in Central Florida for like 3 months, and she got the call to head out there to help with sheltering. So she didn't even hesitate. She says she always keeps her American Red Cross bag already packed and ready to go. And she said this would be her second fire that she's going to be covering, but she's just ready to be able to help all of those families that have been displaced. And just try to provide some type of stability amongst this chaos. Because, like you said, just even looking at that video right now on this, it doesn't even seem real.
Yeah, it is horrific to look at. And I mean, we've seen people just desperate to get out of there. We had the footage of people taking their pets and taking, valuables, and sometimes having to just not even just evacuating their houses, but having to leave the cars in the road because it's crazy right now when you look at this. And so there's people headed out to volunteer from across the country right now, we understand.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, there's going to be people. American Red Cross is asking people from everywhere. I'm talking about Mississippi, all throughout the South, up the Northeast. Everybody's just trying to come together to definitely help, and Central Florida is a part of that as well. So
yeah,
hopefully we'll have some updates. We spoke with Dwayne here at American Red Cross in Orlando, and he stated that he'll keep us updated with just who's going to be being sent out, if there's any footage. Obviously their priority is not getting footage of them helping. American Red Cross will have somebody on the national level who'll be out there just covering things with, images and everything like that. But we definitely have some hands out there ready to help out as much as possible.
Yeah. And it's, it's interesting when we've been looking at how the winds and all that have impacted these fires and the spread and
the dry conditions, it hasn't helped at all.
Yeah. And so you'll have
it's more than, I'm sorry, Bridget.
No, go ahead.
From what I'm understanding, it's more than one fire, right? A lot of people think it's just one fire that went big, but it's been
2 or 3
several fires. Yeah. And they just keep growing.
Yeah. And so you'll have more coming up at noon. You'll have more with the volunteers from Red Cross. Okay. And I would imagine we can help out by sending donations because we know it's going to help causes like this to help people in need right away.
For sure. And we'll have all of that information over on Click Orlando. After that new newscast, we'll have everything updated with all the information you need to know as far as donations and how you can have your small part in helping this situation.
All right. Well, we really appreciate those volunteers and hope that they can get out there and get back safely and really help people stay safe and hold things together in this face of devastation. But Angie, I'll leave you to it so you can work on your story. We appreciate it.
All right, no problem. Good
All
morning.
right,
Take
see you a
care.
little bit later. All right, bye.
Bye.
Of course, today, a day of mourning across the country. We are continuing to cover the final goodbyes to former President Jimmy Carter, who will be laid to rest. The state funeral is later today, and all 5 living U.S. presidents are expected to be in attendance. And we'll, of course, be carrying that on all of our platforms, News 6 Plus, clickorlando.com, our YouTube channel as well, if you would like to follow along. But CBS News' Jared Hill has more on the thousands expected to attend the service today.
In a snow-covered nation's capital, admirers lined up by the hundreds to pay their respects to President Jimmy Carter.
I admired the way that he lived a very humble lifestyle as a president.
Among the visitors on Wednesday, President-elect Donald Trump, who met with Carter's family before meetings on Capitol Hill.
They were lovely. They were really very sad, but also they were celebrating because he was a very fine man. I knew him a little bit, but I knew him only as a fine man.
The public viewing for President Carter ends this morning here at the Capitol when his casket is taken just a few miles away to the National Cathedral for a state funeral. President Biden delivering one of the eulogies.
We have one chance to get this right.
The Majestic Church is the second largest in the United States. It's played host to 4 state funerals in the past. Today, roughly 3,000 people are expected to attend the service for President Carter, a program he had part in planning before dying at the age of 100.
This is the heart of what we do, and we're really happy to do it.
Back at the Capitol, lines of visitors solemnly moved past Carter's casket, some inspired by what Carter did after leaving the White House.
He obviously reached the highest office in the land, but then went on to still fight for causes he believed in and continue to try and serve the public.
That public service just part of the century-long legacy President Carter leaves behind. Jared Hill, CBS News, Washington.
And stay with News 6 and clickorlando.com and News 6 Plus for all the continuing coverage of the services. All of that begins at 9 o'clock on WKMG, Click Orlando, News 6 Plus, and the News 6 YouTube channel. So if you are looking to follow along, you can click and connect on one of those platforms there from your TV, your smartphone, tablets, computers, no matter where you are today. We're taking a quick break. We'll be back with more news to get you up to date before you head out today. Well, if you haven't heard, we are preparing for a big launch from the Space Coast potentially overnight. Around 1 a.m., a window's opening up for the New Glenn rocket with Blue Origin. So, of course, we'll have that here on News 6 if it happens. But in the meantime, space industry leaders are reacting to Governor Ron DeSantis' claim that NASA headquarters could soon be on the move. And at a space summit yesterday, the governor said the operation could move from Washington, D.C. to Kennedy Space Center here in Central Florida. News 6's Troy Campbell looks at what that could mean for the Space Center and the Space Coast.
After Governor DeSantis made those remarks regarding moving NASA's headquarters from Washington, D.C. to here at KSC, we wanted to get reaction here in Brevard County. We heard from space experts, both for and against the idea.
I was talking to the director before we came out here. There is an interest in moving the headquarters of NASA right here to Kennedy Space Center, and I'm supportive of that. They have this massive building in Washington, D.C., and nobody goes to it, so why not just shutter it and move everybody down here?
Speaking to a crowd at Kennedy Space Center on Wednesday, Governor Ron DeSantis suggested their support moving NASA's headquarters to Florida.
Hopefully with the new administration coming in, they'll see a great opportunity to just headquarter NASA here on the Space Coast of Florida.
And so why wouldn't you want to move the NASA headquarters to the busiest spaceport in the world?
Rob Long is the CEO of Space Florida and says he welcomes the move.
It makes logical sense to me anyway to want to take the headquarters of the nation's space agency and put it right in a state that is already leading across the space industry in general, and in research and in talent. It just makes logical sense.
However, not everyone agrees.
So I think that's really bad.
Dr. Ken Kremer is a research scientist and the editor of Space Up Close. We caught up with him on Zoom while he took a road trip out of state.
Tell me, what went through your mind when you first heard the governor said this?
Actually, I was pretty shocked to hear it and very surprised. I really think this is a poor idea, actually. It's bad policy for the public, and it is bad politically.
Kremer says it's important for NASA to continue having a presence in the nation's capital to ensure funding.
Basically, all programs are spread across the country. You want expertise and political support from across the country. And if they concentrate everything in Florida, then nobody else will care.
And Governor DeSantis didn't elaborate on any possible timeline or any other further actions he plans to take. In Brevard County, Troy Campbell, Getting Results, News 6.
Well, from one discussion and debate to another, daylight saving time, love it or hate it, it comes up at least once a year, this debate about, turning the clocks back and springing forward or just keep it as it is. Well, Florida Senator Rick Scott is renewing the push to lock the clock, and News 6's Catherine Silver takes a closer look at what that change will really look like and the potential impacts.
It's a rotating ritual. Every March, we spring forward to daylight saving time, and every November, we fall back to standard time. But what if we didn't have to change the clocks twice a year?
Losing an hour and a half.
It's an idea politicians have presented. The Senate has even passed the Sunshine Protection Act before, which would make daylight saving time year-round.
Here in Central Florida, this is what the sunrise looks like around 7 a.m. But if daylight saving time became permanent, the sunrise wouldn't happen until after 8 in the morning, which means your commute to work or school would be darker.
The main arguments for making daylight saving time permanent are that it reduces crime and keeps the agricultural industry on schedule. But the American Academy of Sleep Medicine advocates for year-round standard time.
One, it removes the switching of our circadian rhythms twice a year, which is very difficult for our bodies to adjust to. And number two, standard time is aligned with our biological clock.
Here in Florida, that means more bright light in the early morning and less light in the evening. Catherine Silver, Getting Results, News 6.
I'd like to know what you think about that. You can always head over to our Facebook page and, sound off in the comments about where you stand on that. It's hard to imagine what it would be like if maybe the sun weren't quite up yet, because it's almost 8 o'clock now. So I don't know. We'll see. All right, now to your money and a new resource for Orange County and those who are trying to make ends meet and things get tight. A new financial empowerment center opened yesterday, allowing anyone who lives or works in Orange County the chance to get free counseling from financial advisors. And this is a really great resource here. The experts will be working out of 3 locations: John Bridges H Community Center in Apopka, the Hal Marston, and Pine Hills Community Center. So that will really help out with people trying to make ends meet, looking for resources, and that empowerment and education really helps out. And now a look at some of those gadgets and advancements in technology. We always talk about artificial intelligence and how it is playing a role in so many different parts of life today. And in the not so distant future, we could have robots really helping us clean up more. We talk about the Roombas and types of vacuums and things like that. This is taking it to a new level. It debuted at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. It's a vacuum that not just vacuums, but it picks things up instead of going around them. Imagine that. So these are like socks left on the floor. It's demonstrating that it'll pick those up for you. Other items, a microwave that will identify and tell exactly how to cook a food. I wonder how it'll do with microwave popcorn, because that's always tricky. There's also a refrigerator that will keep track of food that's about to go bad. Don't you hate that? It's something like that, that bag of salad. I know that's my worst offense right there, wasting all that salad. So maybe it'll get on me about that and let me know what I need to eat first. But anyway, you can always check out these stories and more at clickorlando.com. And of course, we will have more coverage of the former President Carter's funeral services and proceedings today on all of our platforms. So look for that to start at 9 a.m. And we'll see you a little bit later. Have a great day. Keep warm.